We have the process of getting a bed ready in a no-till system. You can see over to the left that we have these tarps down. And where this tarp was, what we took off yesterday, we put this one down a while ago, maybe more than a month. I think it was before the big March snowstorm, so it was been down for a while. Today's April 11th. And it slowly will kill, or either, if not kill, at least weaken the plants that are under it. You can see the edge of where the grass is, and then the edge of where the tarp was. It's yellower. And so we're gonna uproot these plants that are still here. Maybe it's a little winter rye, maybe it's just some grass that we didn't get out last fall, and get all of this organic matter out of the soil, and so that we can come by and make beds to put in our onions in. So last fall we had our turkeys came across this area in their turkey tractors, one day in each spot, and gave it a nice little fertility. And then we did plant some cover crops here. We had previously in this space had onions and summer squash and watermelons and a little bit of, I think, what was that? Cilantro, I think, was here too. So a mix of different kinds of crops. But this is going to be all onion sets that we'll be planting later as we move into our next phase. We are on step 2. This is a different field for those who are paying attention, but in this field we didn't really have much in the way of greenery left. We had mulched very, very heavily last fall, and so we're just clean it up a little bit. When we put in our sticks and strings, we like to do 48-inch beds with 24-inch pathways, and so we set the beds up. And now we have Pete up there, the far right, and Claire in the back right, Leslie in the far upper left, and Joey in the bottom left, making 5 rows in this bed. And we'll get this ready today, and we will start planting these Thursday afternoon, I think. Today's Tuesday. Wednesday, Thursday, and part of Friday are good days for planting roots, and so that's what we're going to do, is plant this on a biodynamic root day planting process. One of the things that we do for all of our plantings is to spray this transplant drench down before we put things in the ground. And I have the recipe for that right here. It's a little hard to see, but it's got Rejuvenate, Sea Shield, Photomag, Sea Stem, Holocal, Sea Crop, and Microgenesis. These are all really good minerals along with inoculants that are going to give the plants a good start. And so we did come back the last couple days, and we've made beds here. It was a really nice system here on this field where we've had a lot of cover. You can see where we don't have the tarps, you can see that we have a lot of good cover from last year. A lot of hay down. You can see a lot of our rock dust that we laid down. And then here was some kale. We leave these in the ground actually, and then pull them out at the last minute because over the winter, as they're dying, they still are providing a lot of food for the microbes. So that's a good thing to leave in the ground in these kind of stalks. And up here in this whole area, we have planted some oats to come up, because later on, in about the end of May, we'll be having some planting some beans. We have 3 trellises of beans and a couple beds of beans, and so the oats will come up in here probably this weekend after we've had a rain. It's been a little bit dry actually, and then we'll tarp this before it's time to turn it over into a crop of beans. So anyway, and on the rest of this field you can see we have tarped in preparation for planting other crops a little bit later in the season. We find even with short periods of tarping that we will have things like rye will germinate underneath the tarp earlier and come up and then be really weak. So once we pull the tarp back, we can actually just kind of rip it out with our rogue hoe. And I should show you also the rogue hoe, which is an important part of our toolbox. This is a row hoe, which we found several years ago. Lindsay Peck gets credit for this one. It's got a nice, really solid oak handle on it, and then a really heavy head that's sharp on the sides and on the ends, and we can actually do some really targeted work with it. So here we are with these onions that we've placed about 4 inches apart, butt down, in these 5 rows per bed. And then I'm going to start coming across in a minute, and I will be covering these with dirt. And then later, I think next week, we're going to take a shot at running our new bale chopper and chopping a bunch of hay, and then just laying it right on the soil, right on top of the onions, with the idea that they're going to actually come up right through it. So there'll be a minimal amount of weeding to take care of these plants. And they should be in really good condition. The other thing that we put down in here before we planted the onions was our Pro-Grow, which is our go-to kind of blended fertilizer that comes from North Country Organics. I find that it's really very helpful across the board on our farm. It contains humates, natural sulfate of potash, natural nitrate of soda, pasteurized poultry litter, feather meal, rock phosphate, animal protein meals, vegetable protein meals, peanut meal, and green sand. So all really good products that we're going to really stimulate good growth.